try this again. Sorry for you guys at home too, it's a little choppy. Okay, we're back in business. So let's try some that have more than one variable. So let's do negative 4a times 3b minus 5. Okay. So same thing is happening here. You're distributing to each term, like this. Okay. Now, when you're multiplying these things together, for a second I want you to ignore the variables and just say, okay, well, negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. This will be negative 12. And then you have times a times b. So this will be a, b. Now look at that second term. So you have negative 4a, and I know you guys see this as a subtraction, but when I look at this, I see negative 5. And it saves me a step. So negative 4a times negative 5 would be a positive, so positive 20a. If you're not ready to make that mental leap, you can do minus a negative 20a and then simplify it further. But when I see a subtraction, I automatically think negative 5. And as we go through the next few months, you're going to start thinking that too. Okay? Whenever I see subtraction, I think negative 5. Okay, so let's get real here. Let's do one that has some extra stuff going on. So let's do negative 4 times negative 3x minus 8 minus 34. Okay. Well, this is not involved in the parentheses. Since this part is not in the parentheses, we're going to completely ignore it until we've distributed this out. A common error that I see is people will try to distribute negative 4 to this negative 34, and you don't want to do that because it's not in the parentheses. It's not being multiplied by negative 4. Okay. So we can distribute here and here. Okay, so let's look at that first one. Negative 4 times negative 3x is going to be positive 12x. Okay. And now we're going to do, and like I said, I think of this as negative 8. So negative 4 times negative 8 is going to be positive 32. Okay, you can subtract a negative 32, but it's the same thing as adding. And now that we're done with this distributive portion, I can add on to the end here this minus 34. Okay. And now this is on its own because it has a variable on it. But we can simplify this part, right? Okay, so 32 minus 34 is going to be negative 2. Like I said, you can add a negative 2, but it's the same thing as just subtracting 2. Is your mind blown yet? A little bit. I know we're doing a lot of mental leaps here. So I'm going to give you a couple to practice. Okay, so let's do this one because we didn't do an example like this, but I think you guys can handle it. Okay, so when you have 3 terms, you're going to multiply each term by -7 when you distribute. Okay? And let's try a different one. Let's do this. What happens when you have an x times an x? What's it? X times x. Yeah, x squared, right? Yeah. Because if you had 2 times 2, that'd be 2 squared. Same thing for variables. It'll be x squared. Okay, did you guys get some answers? Maybe? Okay, Shauna, go ahead. Plus what? Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So we are going to be multiplying everything times -7. Are you guys afraid to share your answers? It's like quiet. Okay. So -7 times 2y, what Shauna said is -14y. Now here I see this as a negative. So this is going to be -7 times -3x. So this will be plus 20x. Or 21x, sorry. Okay? Because a negative times a negative is a positive. I mean, you could have done minus a -21. Same thing though. Now, now you need to do, there's one last term here because there's 3 terms inside these parentheses. So it's going to be -7 times 9, which is -63. Raise your hand if you got it. You guys should have shared. You knew you were right. All right. So let's take a look at this next one. Okay. Now this is the first time we've seen this. You have a variable times a variable and they're the same. We talked about it a little bit. What is the answer here? Go ahead, Evan.
6x squared plus 14x.
Okay, and what did you get, Joe?
I got -6x squared.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant to say. Sorry.
Yeah, plus 14x, good. Anyone else?
I just got the same.
You got the same thing. Okay, I would agree. So 2 times -3 is -6. And then x times x is going to be x squared. And then 2x times 7 is going to be 14x. How are you guys feeling about it? You're okay? All right. It was kind of a fire hose of information today. So, okay, what I'm going to have you guys do is go in to your homework, your practice for today. It would be great if you could finish it before you leave today. That way you have no homework over Thanksgiving break. So I'll give you some time to do that.